against Reanimation. Do remember that after this game, we will be asking our first of 3 trivia questions today. First one is for 3 months of premium. We'll announce the winner at the conclusion of our quarterfinals, which we do predict is going to be pretty quick here. As you did see those top 8 decks, a lot of combo in the top 8 here, or at least pretty quick decks, as Walton is going to play a Verdant Catacomb, sacrifice that for an Underground Sea, going to go down to 19 to start the quarterfinals.
Christopher Walton here, should he continue onwards, remember, the first seed, as the first seed, as long as he's in this tournament, he'll be able to choose to play every match that he goes through here.
Walton said, I'm going to cast Thoughtseize, and then he pointed to himself. And that's not the best feeling in the world if you're a 4-color Cascade player. Now, Tragos does have 3 copies of Force of Will in his deck, and Thoughtseize is going to show the hand. Gristleband to the bin. There's a Lotus Petal. There's a Reanimate, an Island, and then a Mystery card over on the top. Chris says, how about this? How about this?
All in. Does it work?
Is this okay?
And
Peter, I would say no, Peter.
Yeah,
Peter, no, say no. Oh, no.
And he passes it. He passes it. Christopher Walton now, Gristlebrand in play. Peter Tragos is not the kind of deck to have a Caracas, so this is going to be a rough one right now.
We better get that trivia question ready. I didn't think we'd have to ask it. Normally we have enough time to think about it, but I have thought of one, so we're in the clear. I'm gonna let you do. I'm gonna let you do the directions. I'll ask the trivia question. As a turn one Gristlebrand here for Walton. Makes you wonder how he became the 1 seed.
Gained 7, and now we're going to see him lose that 7 right away with a activation of Gristlebrand's ability, drawing 7, count them 7 cards. And let's pretend, for the sake of argument, that Peter Tragos has something really awesome to pull on this next turn. Well, there's 9 life there. Christopher Walton can just spend 7 more life, get 7 more cards, hunt for a Force of Will, and still have the ability to be alive.
Here's a Brainstorm here, so Walton's going to get a little bit deeper in this deck. You see Lotus Petal, an Underground Sea, and a Swamp are the cards that are drawn here off of the Petal, or excuse me, off of the Brainstorm. He's going to set 2 back, but you see the foil Gristlebrand in play. That's the big problem here. Look, pretty nice looking Reanimator deck too. You can always tell the players who do play a lot of Legacy, they have really nice Legacy decks, like that Flooded Strand, like that Foreign Lotus Petal. What's coming next? I'm getting kind of excited to see what other beautiful card he's going to play. I think that's a foil Elish Norn.
Discarding it there. I mean, this deck isn't as pretty as Ely Cassis's Reanimator deck.
A few things are.
That was when I got a lesson in what beta dual lands are worth.
Ely has one of the nicest collections out there.
We see a second land for Peter Tragos. Peter not willing to give up yet.
I mean, you know, the thought process here is, you know, I have a Maelstrom Pulse in my deck. That's his actual answer to the situation. It's just 1 Maelstrom Pulse, but we know that Walton does have a Force of Will in his deck, or excuse me, he has Force of Will in his hand. He also has Force of Will in his deck, 4 of them, and you know he can just reanimate Gristlebrand. So feels like the things that Tragos are doing right now are kind of a formality at this point.
Now, normally, if we were in the Swiss rounds, I'd say that what Peter was doing was just fine, getting more information. But he actually has perfect information. He's already seen the deck list. He can look at it while he's sideboarding. One thing that he could pick up on is that he could absolutely maybe get a sense of how Walton plays. That's a possibility.
Those are Japanese Lotus Petals. Okay. Must be nice. Here's a Brainstorm. Really giving it all. Not sure what 3 cards he's looking for.
Yeah. I'll never give up. Never.
Yeah.
Never.
I don't like to pronounce games over before they are over, as, you know, anything can happen, egregious errors can take place. But I think if Christopher Walton draws his card face down and attacks with Gristlebrand, and just says go, and then does it again, I think the game is over.
Peter Tragos looking intently at these cards, I think wishing that they turned into Black Lotuses and such.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that there's much that he can do past the turn. We see the fetch here. Christopher Walton goes down to 8.
Well, time to find a land. And again, as we do get our results in for our other matches, we will certainly update you guys. I know there are some fans watching at home of some of the players that are in our top 8 today here in Cleveland. So we do want to make sure we are able to update at all times for you guys.
And that's going to
make it through.
That's going to be game by game as best as we can. We do have our intrepid reporter Glenn Jones over there, so he'll be giving us all the information as soon as it's available.
Walton going to take a draw step here. Draws Polluted Delta. Gristlebrand going to come in again emphatically. Deal you 7, gain me 7, put you to 5, put me up to 15. Walton going to play Underground Sea for the turn. Has Pluto Delta in his hand. Can draw 7 cards whenever he wants to. He can actually draw 14, go down to 1 and do so. Going to pass the turn back to Tragos. Tragos going to sacrifice Pluto Delta on his upkeep, as we do see one quick update, Adrian.
That's Joey Andrews with Goblins. Wins the first game against Steven Selisker with Mud.
We thought that Goblins was going to win the matchup. It's a very difficult one for Mud. Again, a lot of the things that they try to do to knock people out of commission, Chalice of the Void, Blood Moon, not so good against the old Gabos, the mono red deck.
I feel like there's a lot of decks here in this top 8 that are kind of decks that you really are champions of. We got the Charbelcher, we got the Goblins, and maybe you're not a cascading kind of guy, but somehow I feel like you should be.
Nah.
No, you don't like to spin the wheel?
Nah, not so much.
Oh, I want you to be, though. I want you to spin that wheel.
Baleful Strix.
Baleful Strix. Amusingly, I don't think this is going to resolve. It can block and kill a Gristlebrand.
It's already come in. He's drawn a card. What I think Walton's going to do is go, that's fine, reanimate my Elish Norn. That's going to die due to state-based effects at having -2/-2 and get you for the last points of damage. That's what I foresee
That's pretty solid.
Discarded him to Torak. Gristlebrand, draw me a card soon, most likely. Here, he's going to tap some mana. Probably cast Exhume.
Exhume.
I'm going to get this
Boom.
back. I'm going to kill you now. So, okay. Christopher Walton's going to win game number 1 here. Reanimator up a game over 4-color Cascade and Peter Tragos, as we're going to bring it back to the booth, because Adrian's going to explain directions to you guys about how to win 3 months of premium, and
Absolutely.
I'm going to ask you a real toughie.
Yeah, so one of the things that's great about StarCityGames.com is premium. The premium side of things is awesome. You should be reading premium. If you are not caring enough about your tournament magic. That's what I tell you. And what you need to do in order to win the prize that we give out, every top 8 we give out a prize. In the quarterfinals, 3 free months of Star City Games Premium. In the semifinals, 6 free months. In the finals, a free year of Star City Games Premium. What you do, we've got a trivia question for you. Cedric's got something brewing in his head that he wants to ask you. Answer his question correctly via Twitter. Use the hashtag SCG Premium. Put that in your answer. If you are one of those people who has been fortunate enough to know the answer, and you have that hashtag, one of you can be selected to receive that 3 free months of premium. What is your question? All
right, within the reanimation deck that, Christopher Walton is playing, he's got some things to reanimate. He's got 4 Gristlebrands, which we did see. He's also got an Elish Norn out there, but he's got a lone blue card to reanimate. And so if you can name that one of blue card that he can reanimate in his deck, hashtag your answer with the hashtag of SCG Premium on Twitter. And again, we will announce the winner at the conclusion of our quarterfinals. Again, 1 blue card to reanimate in his main deck. If you can name that, hashtag your answer, SCG Premium. And again, we will announce the winner at the conclusion of our quarterfinals, as we do move on to sideboarding here.
That's right.
We'll take a look ski. Peter Tragos, he's going to be on the play. We know he has Deathrite Shaman's in the main. Is anything useful on the side?
Well, let's go through his sideboard. Whip Flare, not necessarily so good against all those big monsters.
Yeah, probably not.
You know, Arcane Laboratory, well, that's not exactly for this at all. Thoughtseize seems pretty good. Get rid of a Force of Will. Clear the way. Dismember, not so good. Force of Will, pretty good. Flusterstorm, pretty good. There's 2 Flusterstorms, 1 Force of Will, 2 Thoughtseize, and then finally 3 Nile Spell Bombs. Let's nuke that graveyard.
Yeah, I think that one's obviously the easy one to board in. The counter spells, I think we'll see some sort of combination of those. You see Walton taking a look at Tragos' deck list right now. We'll take a look at Walton's sideboard on the screen for you guys. 2 Engineered Explosives, 3 Pithy Needle, an Ashen Rider, an Imperial Archangel, 2 Chain of Vapor, 2 Flusterstorm, 2 Show and Tell, 2 Thoughtseize. Ashen Rider being that new Angel Despair type effect. And I think that's the second new card that we've seen from Theros. We saw a Swan Song a little bit earlier. Might see him board that in. Don't think we're going to see the Archangel here. Don't think he's going to need Chain of Vapor, but he could board that in since he's on the draw against Deathrite Shaman. Pithy Needle is going to also take care of Deathrite Shaman, so I like those coming in. Flusterstorm I don't think he needs. Show and Tell is redundant effects to be able to put a big dummy into play, and if there's an Nile Spellbomb out there, that could be a little bit annoying. So Show and Tell, a little bit of redundancy to put a big guy into play. Thoughtseize can clear the way. Not sure if he's going to need those though. And then Engineered Explosives, while fine, I wouldn't actually be surprised to see him board in EE. And the reason for that is because setting it at 1 in this match was actually quite good. He takes care of Deathrite Shaman, also takes care of Nile Spellbomb. So, you know, the kind of versatility in that card could be pretty good in this matchup. I think overall, Walton's just going to try to overpower Tragos here. I don't expect him to sideboard it with his deck too much, because I don't think he wants to dilute things very much. His deck is incredibly streamlined and powerful, so he just wants to, I feel, just push him over.
Yeah, I agree with you. And one of the things that Christopher Walton has to be careful of is with so many cards that he could potentially board in, you don't want to bring in too much. One of the classic blunders is boarding so many cards that you cease to be the deck that you once were.
Yep. And that does happen on occasion, so it looks like Walton is happy with his configuration after sideboard. He's going to shuffle up, as is Peter. Again, Christopher Walton, your 1 seed in this tournament. He has destroyed everyone with Reanimator this weekend, and so far he has destroyed Peter Tragos as well, winning game 1 pretty easily. A turn 1 Gristlebrand. Pretty hard to lose when that resolves.
I mean, that was a very, very dramatic turn 1 Gristlebrand as well. A land, Thoughtseize himself, then lay a Lotus Petal, and use Reanimate on the Gristlebrand that he discarded. It takes a lot for that to happen on turn 1.
Yeah, and I like it. I mean, he knows what his opponent has as far as counter magic is concerned. 3 Force of Wills, and it's like, if you got 3 of your Force of Wills, hey, good stuff. Good for you. And if you don't, great, you're dead. That's exactly how that works. So if you hit your 3-outer, so be it. And by the way, the Thoughtseize is putting my Gristlebrand in the graveyard. If you counter my Reanimate, well, I've got live draws to other things. So, and if you counter my Thoughtseize, I've got live draws to Careful Study and stuff to be able to discard it. So either way, it really, really forces the hand. I think it's a solid play there from Walton. Not that risky at all when you think about it, and ends up winning him the game.
You know, if he doesn't go for it, you know, out of fear of the Force of Will, it's not like that Force of Will is going to run away, and it's still going to be there. Peter Tragos, I think, has to be thinking about these next 2 games. He's hoping to have 2 more games here.
Yeah.
And wondering what's going to happen should he win this one. That game 3 where he's going to be on the draw. That's got to be a scary one.
As both players do present their decks on over. Again, we do know that Joey Andrews did win game number 1 over Steven Seliskar. Goblins is up a game. Make it 2, actually. Joey Andrews 2-0 over Mud. Again, not terribly surprising there. I think the matchup is quite difficult for the Mud player. So Joey Andrews moves on. Again, he has the 2 seed. He has not lost yet this weekend either. He's going to be playing the winner of Dustin Cloping playing Belcher against Nick Howden playing Blue-White Red Delver. If you're the Goblins player, you're really hoping Belcher loses.
That has to be the case.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think, though, that seems to be the likely outcome. Of course, it's not over until you know who sings.
Yeah. So, any mulligans to be had? Anybody? Are we keeping 7 all day long? We're keeping 7.
There we go.
Turn 1, Verdant Catacombs.
Starting with the fetch, the Verdant Catacombs brings an Underground Sea. We're probably going to see either a Deathrite Shaman or a Thoughtseize.
I mean, there's a lot of options here on turn 1 for Tragos. He can play, as you said, Deathrite Shaman. He can play Nile Spellbomb. He can play Thoughtseize. It's got a handful of options here, which I actually kind of like.
Could also suspend an Ancestral Vision.
That's true too. Come forward with that Underground Sea.
Thoughtseize.
Let it be known.
Newfangled Thoughtseize.
All right, here's the grip. Gristlebrand, Reanimate, Brainstorm, Lotus Petal, 3 fetch lands. What do you take here? Obviously not Gristlebrand, but I kind of want to take a Brainstorm here. How do you feel about that?
I mean, this hand is pretty weak with without that Brainstorm. The Brainstorm here, being able to reset the hand with a fetch, that's probably why Christopher Walton kept this hand. And also the Brainstorm as an anti-Hymn to Torok card. Brainstorm seems like a very, very good catch.
And, you know, I don't want to take Reanimate because they are redundant. He's going to take the Brainstorm. I don't want to take Reanimate because there's redundant effects to be able to bring back Gristlebrand. Also, he could just draw Show and Tell and cast Show and Tell on turn 2. So I like taking Brainstorm. Kind of blows up his hand. Careful Study off the top, making it look rather easy.
This is
Somebody get a doctor. Got a case of the run goods here.
Yeah.
Gonna crack a polluted
boy.
delta. My goodness. Underground Sea in the house. Yeah, it's pretty. I would be smiling from ear to ear right now.
I feel like he's trying not to smile.
Yeah. I'm going to cast a Careful Study.
Oh, Peter Tragos is like, oh,
He's
what are you
just
talking
shaking his
about?
head.
That's good.
I just saw your hand. You did not have that. That's better than Brainstorm. That is better than Brainstorm right now. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and he shakes his head.
I would just keep shuffling his deck. I'd never give it back. That's what I would do.
Okay, Careful Study.
Is there a time limit for how long you can shuffle?
Officially not
Is this
anymore.
Force Will blue card? Oh my! If that was Force Will blue card, I would have lost my mind. Oh no! What?
I am confused.
Oh
Lordy.
Oh no!
Oh Lordy. Wow. Now, what that was is what we call a gaff. That wasn't a misplay, because he did not intend. He did not intend to discard that. So, yeah, you can't call that a misplay. That's a physical mistake. Wow. And Peter Tragos trying not to smile himself right now. Good Lord.
Bless your lucky stars, Peter Tragos. You better win this game. Gonna sacrifice a Verdant Catacombs. He's playing with house money right now.
Oh my goodness. That's a good way to put that, by the way. Now, for those of you who have ever done this before, putting the wrong land into play, this is the equivalent of that times a billion.
Goodness.
Oh, wow. If you're just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan with the nearly speechless Cedric Phillips. We just watched a basically really rough misclick in real life.
Yeah. If you're Christopher Walton, you can't, I mean, you have to, you got to keep going.
Yeah,
This,
there's still a fight.
Yeah, I mean, you can
There's
still win.
a
You're
fight.
still up you're up a game. There's a long way to go here. No reason to panic.
I mean, he's got Gristlebrand in hand, he's got fetch land, and maybe some other stuff.
Yeah, he could just peel off a show and tell him be perfectly fine. There's a Tarmogoyf. We'll get our Tarmogoyf die on the screen for you guys to see exactly how big that thing is. Here's a Ponder to get a little bit deeper in his deck. So hit 1, Exhume, 2, Pithing Needle, 3 is Underground Sea. I don't think those are going to be good enough, but I could be wrong. He's going to take Exhume to hand, going to sacrifice. He's going to cast oh,
wait a second. It's still not there. Now that is more of a tilt.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh. Peter Tragos, he kind of looks almost as stunned as he did the first game.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things I know, if I've been in the position where Peter is, sometimes when these things happen, what you're trying to do, you're just trying to make sure you don't make your opponent feel utterly terrible for it, trying to be a real nice guy. I know that that my boss Bob, he would say, no, you rub that in, you make him feel it, you make him burn, but that's not how I like to make it go. Wow, and we're on to a game 3 here. Christopher Walton is going to be on the play, and when you're in this position that Christopher Walton's in, there's a lot of ways to get over that terrible moment. One, for some people, it's take a deep breath, just try to get back into the happy place.
I mean, I know what in this situation right now, I would probably ask the judge if I could, like, go use the restroom or just step away from the table and just mentally regroup. Because, I mean, you know, you don't know how many times Chris has been in this situation where he's at a feature match, he's on camera, everyone's watching at home, all of those things. It's a pressure situation if you're not used to being under the lights like this, where, you know, you've obviously made a significant error and then you've compounded that error again on the following turn.
Yeah.
And, I mean, these things happen. It's magic. Nobody plays perfect.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to take a deep breath and just step away from it. Again, you're up a game. You're in what looks to be a favorable matchup. You've had a fantastic tournament. You're the 1 seed coming in. You're on the play right now. Just let it go. Just move on.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
One of the hardest skills to learn for people that play very emotionally is how to move on from the mistake.
Yeah. And again, you know, no reason for a quick keep of your hand or anything like that. I mean, it's obviously a frustrating situation, but just think things through, regroup. He's going to play Lotus Petal. That resolves. He's going to sacrifice this. He's going to cast a Careful Study.
Nick Cowden in the other match, 2-0 with the Delver Blade, red, blue, white Delver over Charbelcher.
He's going to discard double Gristlebrand, going to play a Swamp and pass the turn back. Now this is risky because if Tragos has Nile Spellbomb, that's game. it might be.
And Tragos looks cool as a cucumber here right now.
We thought Cowden was going to win that match. As you did update, Cowden defeating the Belcher deck 2-0. So blue, red Delver versus Goblins in the bottom side of the bracket.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever gone on tilt. I certainly have.
Yeah.
I certainly have.
Yeah, are you kidding me?
Hey man, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. You're cool as a cucumber usually.
I mean, I can be. At the early stages of my career, I was not. Here's the hand here of Exhume, Ponder, Ponder, and Brainstorm. Blue Source off the top is good, obviously, so you can cantrip and reanimate off the top here is good as well, depending on what's in Tragos' hand. He's obviously going to take Exhume. That's the easy take here because his hand is off right now as Walton's. Going to draw a card.
Oh, wow. Run goods. 3 Moon Ponder. How's that one look? Does it look okay?
Run, Gristlebrand, Entomb, Thoughtseize.
Let's get rid of all
Yeah, immediate shuffle.
There could have been an argument for keeping that potentially to use a Thoughtseize, but...
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
You can tell that he's emotionally affected by what happened in the last game.
Oh, absolutely.
Just with how he's playing his cards and the frustration on his face. I mean, he can definitely still win this game, but I feel like he does need to try to regroup here.
Yeah.
Because he didn't really. I mean, there's definitely tunnel vision there with the Ponder. Like, I don't even think there was any consideration of, like, I could keep Thoughtseize here, Thoughteize my opponent, see what's going on on Tragos' side, develop a game plan because I have another Ponder, another Brainstorm.
I mean, you know, maybe he was just thinking to himself, I just need to find a reanimation spell. No reanimation. Next.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly feel like he was like, well, cast this, look for reanimate. If it's not reanimate, it's not good enough for me. Here's a Brainstorm. Force of Will. Entomb. Exhume, I think?
Yeah, I don't think he has the land, though, does he?
I'm not sure. I'm going to put 2 cards back. There's your 2.
And if he didn't draw a land... Oh, he does have a land.
Question is, does he have a blue card to Force of Will with? Because I can't imagine that Tragos has, like, Force of Will, blue card. I would be surprised if he did. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
There's Underground Sea.
Ponder's still in hand.
Yeah, so he definitely has a blue card.
Yeah.
All right. Cast Exhume.
And now it's to you, Peter Tragos.
You force. When you force, I force. Just like that.
And empty-handed is Christopher Walton. Now it's all to Peter Tragos. Peter Tragos, do you have that second Force of Will?
And that second blue card.
And that second blue card.
How do we do? Frowntown, Charlie Brown.
That we now have the Tricks special. Draw 7 cards, find more answers.
No reason to draw right now.
Oh,
he can sit pretty. He can draw 14 at his leisure. But 7/7 versus 5/6 Tarmogoyf.
And Peter Tragos.
Deathray Shaman, probably. Now Brainstorm. Okay, a little bit deeper.
He's like, is that okay?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Go ahead. Not forcing that. Not going to look for force for that either. Feel free.
Very few cards in Peter Tragos' deck that can get that Gristlebrand off the table.
So Walton is he's mounting a comeback here.
Look at that. Force of Will. Maybe he saw that with the Brainstorm.
Yeah,
or maybe there was no blue spell in hand.
Yeah, sure. Pretty tough spot.
So close. I mean, he gave a look after he cast that. Wow.
All right, Pluto Delta, gonna make it a real Brainstorm. Of course, we do have one more match going. Namtran playing Painted Stone against Robert Cucinato. He's playing Reanimator as well. We could see a Reanimator mirror here in the semifinals, depending on how things go over in that match.
Okay. Peter Tragos basically hunting at this point for the 1 Maelstrom Pulse, or hoping that a Baleful Strix plus a prayer will get him somewhere.
Yeah.
It's not a very good place to be.
What's this going to be? Another Tarmogoyf. So those are 2 5/6 Tarmogoyfs, but Gristlebrand reigns supreme over Tarmogoyf.
There are a few things that Gristlebrand is not supreme over.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some things. Yeah.
In for 7.
Here he comes.
Put you to 8. This also makes it so Tragos can't correct another fetch land, assuming our life totals are correct right now. Gonna play an Underground Sea and pass the turn back. 25 to 8 is the life totals. He's gonna draw 7 cards. I mean, I draw 7 cards is fine right now. I'm not in love with it because, like, you know, if you're drawing 7 cards, what exactly are you looking for? Is the thing. It's going to start by casting a Ponder. I mean, assuming that he's looking for something in particular, drawing 7 cards is fine, but I'd much rather just leave myself at a really, really healthy 25 versus the 2 Tarmogoyfs and just say, beat this Griselbrand.
Can you?
Yeah, can you beat this? Because, like, if you can't, then I don't have to do anything. And you can't do anything. And if you do draw a Maelstrom Pulse, yeah, then I'll start drawing cards looking for Force of Will. There's a Petal. And he plays the Petal so he doesn't discard. He passes the turn back.
Now that is 10 power over there. Peter Tragos not in it, or not out of it. Oh, incorrect. 8 power. 4 and 4. No, 5 and 5. We can't see all of the graveyards here.
How big is Tarmogoyf?
There we go. Now we can see both of the graveyards.
Creature, instant, land, sorcery.
There we go.
Creature, instant, land, sorcery is 4. Artifact for Lotus Petal is 5. So, yeah, 5, 6.
That's better.
In for 10. Put you down to 8. Tie game, in quotes.
Hey, it's a tie game.
Yeah, it's a tie game.
I always like it in Legacy when my opponent goes first, because then I'm winning as soon as they sack their first land.
Absolutely. Let's just follow up.
Gonna be a Thoughtseize or some such? Oh, a Spellbomb. A little late to the party, but maybe maybe you can make something happen.
Draw a card. In for 7. Put you to 1, myself up to 15. Again, no reason to do anything. He doesn't have a reason to make a move. He'll go down to 5 from the attack. I wouldn't activate Griselbrand. You got no reason to. You're not looking for anything. You have Force of Will. You got 5 blue mana.
There's a very small argument for Exhume here to replace his Griselbrand with an untapped Griselbrand.
Sure.
It's a small argument, though. Very small.
And he's got a Spellbomb in play anyway, so it doesn't even... Like, that, he would just respond by Spellbomb in the graveyards.
And if you're not following everybody on... Ooh, that's...
Oh, this gets countered, right? Because he just removes the graveyards.
Yeah.
And if this does resolve, he ends up taking... He ends up taking how much? He'll end up taking... Griselbrand's casting cost is 8?
Yes.
Yeah, so he'll end up taking 8, go down to 7. It's pretty risky. Again, I don't see a reason to make a move here, especially when you know your opponent's deck list. You know that they have, like, no outs, and you have Force in your hand. He's going to blow the Spellbomb to draw a card, so Reanimate's going to get countered because it has nothing to... The target is gone upon resolution.
Yep. On Twitter, Julian Carr says he wants a Strix and a prayer.
Yeah. That's exactly what he wants.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's good, but that's what he wants. Draw a card. You see Tarmogoyf can attack. Those Tarmogoyfs, depending on graveyard size over there, there's an artifact. I think we're looking at a 4/5 now. Yeah, and that's going to do it. So
there we
Christopher Walton does win this match over Peter Tragos, 2-1. Reanimator moving on to the semifinals over a 4-color Cascade. We'll see who it's going to play against, as we do have a Nam playing, again, Painted Stone against Robert Cucinato playing Reanimator. So we could see a Reanimator Mirror, and that one's a lot of fun.
You know, the Reanimator Mirror is one of the more interesting matchups because of the ways in which Exhume can be a liability.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a really back-and-forth matchup. I
have not actually seen that matchup since they changed the Legend rule.
I was about to say the same thing. I've never seen Griselbrand staring at each other, saying, let's do this. You want to fight? Let's fight then.